Good day, everyone. So we are going to discuss to you the chapter 12 entitled Administrative Processes and Controls. This is prepared to you by yours truly, Michelle S. Osinsao, and my partner, Drew R. Pereño. This chapter will help you gain an understanding of the following concepts. So for the study objective number 1, this is an introduction to administrative processes. For number 2, source of capital processes. For number 3, investment processes. For risks and controls in capital and investment processes. 5, general ledger processes. 6, risk and controls in general ledger processes. 7. Reporting as an output of the general ledger processes. And the last one, corporate governance in administrative processes and reporting. Now let's start with study objective number 1, an introduction to administrative processes. Una, ano nga ba ang administrative processes? So, administrative processes are transactions and activities that either are specifically authorized by top managers or are used by managers to perform administrative functions. Let's now look at this diagram. So, each of these involves a regular transaction process that occurs daily or at another recurring interval. So these processes usually generate a large number of transactions that must be recorded in the accounting system. So isa sa mga transaction na nandito is large volume of daily sales, return, and cash inflow transaction na kung saan ang tawag sa process na ito ay revenue and return processes, systems, and controls. Another type of transaction dito is the large volume of daily purchase, return, and cash outflow, periodic payroll, and intermittent fixed asset purchase transaction na kung saan ito ay under ng expenditure and return processes, systems, and control. Meron pa tayo dito, large volume of daily raw material work in process transaction na alam naman natin na ito ay napapaloob sa conversion processes, systems, and control. And the last dito is intermittent investment, borrowing, and capital transaction na kung saan nakapaloob siya sa administrative processes, systems, and control. So, itong nasa left part ng ating diagram, under ng transactions and processes, dapat daw siyang mag-result into financial information na dapat itong information na ito ay ma-record sa general ledger accounts. At anong mga example ng general ledger accounts? Namely, revenue accounts, expense accounts, and cash account. Pagkatapos nun, itong information na ma-generate o makukuha dito sa general ledger account ay magagamit para makagawa ng report for both external and internal users. For external reports such as balance sheet, income statement, and cash flow statement. Dito naman sa internal reports, sales inventory status, cash flow, aged receivables, and many more. Another thing, this general ledger and the reporting processes will provide feedback to owners and managers and assist these groups in the administration of the organization. So, to further explain, makikita natin sa susunod na mga slides. Let's now move on to study objective number 2, source of capital processes. So, ano muna yung source of capital processes? Source of capital processes are those processes to authorize the raising of capital, execute the raising of capital, and properly account for that capital. So, alam naman natin na ang top management yung nag-authorize and nag-execute or naglo-look out kung ano ba ang kailangan ng isang organization. So, isa sa mga pangangailangan nila ay ang capital asset katulad ng land, buildings, and equipment. So, paano ba sila makakapag-avail o makakapag-acquire nitong capital assets? Siyempre, kailangan nila ng capital. Ano nga ba ang capital? Capital is the funds used to acquire the long-term capital assets of an organizations. And saan ito nanggagaling? Nanggagaling itong capital from long-term debt and long-term equity. At saan nakukuha tong long-term debt? Long-term debt results from borrowing funds via loan or bonds payable. And itong long-term equity naman results from issuing common stock or issuing preferred stock. Para mas malinaw, ay meron tayong source of capital process map. So, 'di ba? The top management first will recognize if they have the need for capital. Tapos, kapag meron, syempre, kailangan muna nila yung ipa-approve sa board. And kapag na-approve na, kailangan nilang i-identify kung anong type ito ng capital. Na kung saan may dalawang tayong uri, ang long-term equity and long-term debt. Sinasabi, dito muna tayo sa long-term equity. Sinasabi na ang corporation daw, corporation are usually unable to access the stock market directly. Kung kaya't, ang magiging way nila para maka-access dito is the underwriter. At sino naman itong mga underwriter na to? Underwriter is a third party that contracts with the corporation to bring new securities issues to the public market. So, after nilang mag-contract stock underwriter, this underwriter naman will sell and collect proceeds. And after that, they are going to pay dividends. And after nila itong makollect, they will distribute this. Let's now move on to long-term debt. Long-term debt, may dalawa siya, bonds or loan. So, kung bonds siya, syempre, they will contract bond underwriter. Kung sa equity, stock underwriter, dito naman bond underwriter. And then, kapares din siya nitong sa equity, bond underwriter will sell and collect proceeds. And after that, they are going to pay periodic interest and pagkatapos nun, magre-retire na sila ng bonds. Sa loan naman, una, arrange bank loan. Pagkatapos, they will borrow and collect proceeds. And after that, they will pay principal and interest. So, sabi, bago daw mamili ang top management, kailangan muna nila mag-investigate kung ano baga talaga yung mas appropriate na method na gamitin nila between these two general sources of capital, the debt or equity. Dito naman tayo sa study objective number 3, investment processes. So, investment processes authorize, execute, manage, and properly account for investments of excess funds. Management should properly manage or administer the investment of excess funds. So, paano nga ba ito? Well, there are several ways for a corporation to invest such funds. Ang pinaka-frequent or madalas na ginagamit na method daw is to invest in marketable securities or repurchase the company's outstanding common stock. So, marketable securities, ito yung mga stocks or bonds purchased on open securities markets. Tapos, ito namang company's outstanding common stock, ito yung own stock ng corporation that is repurchased by the company on the open market. And kilala din ito sa tawag na treasury stock. So, dalawang beses ko nabanggit itong management from source of capital process and dito sa investment process map. So, sino nga ba ang top management, bumubuo sa top management? Depende yon sa type of organization. Diba, we have sole proprietorship, partnership, and corporation. So, for a corporation, the top management are the board of directors. Sa partnership naman, of course, the partners, and the sole proprietorship ay di yung owner or the proprietor. So, sila yung nagmo-monitor, continually monitoring the funds available, and sila din yung nag-consider sa future needs ng kanilang funds. So, nabanggit ko na sila yung nag-authorize, pero kadalasan, ang treasurer ng corporation, sila yung mas may responsibility for making investment decisions and overseeing investments. Tapos, 'di ba sa mga malalaking corporation, they have complex IT accounting systems. So, itong accounting information system na ito, sila yung nag-automate much of the investment processes. For example, forecast future cash needs, forecast future cash inflows, na kung saan ang example nitong dalawa na ito, to be specific, ay namamonitor nila yung expected timing of future accounts payable due dates, and another one is yung it can monitor expected timing of future cash collections of accounts receivable. Another thing na na-automate niya is nako-compare niya yung cash balances and provide feedback to top management. So, kung may source of capital process map, meron din tayong investment process map. So, una, of course, kapag nagkaroon ng reports on excess funds, they have to compare it with the funds needed. And kapag nakapag-identify sila ng excess, they will decide if i-invest ba nila yon or hindi. So, kapag nakapag-decide sila na i-invest nila itong excess na to, kailangan nilang i-identify kung anong uri ng investment type ang pipiliin nila. We have marketable securities and treasury stock. So, katulad ng sa kanina, kung sa marketable securities, they have to contract with stockbroker, then buy stocks or bonds, and after that, sell securities as necessary. Dito naman sa treasury stock, they have to contract with stockbrokers, same with this one, and same with the marketable securities. After that, instead of buying stocks or bonds, dito sa treasury stock, they will buy treasury stock. So, kung dito sa kabila, sa marketable securities, they will sell securities as necessary. Dito naman, they will reissue stocks as desired. For study objective number 4, risks and controls in capital and investment processes. So for both source of capital processes and investment processes, the important control is the specific authorization and oversight by top management. May top management na naman, sila talaga yung concern dito. So bakit ba kailangan ng specific authorization and oversight? This is to help prevent risk of theft or misuse of the cash related to capital and investment processes. Dahil alam naman natin na malalaking large amount of money or cash ang involved dito sa ganitong uri ng organization, kailangan na hindi mag-handle ng pera ang regular company employees nang sa gayon ay ma-prevent ang employee fraud. So, saan dapat nila idaan o ilagay ang pera? So, this will be transferred electronically with the help of the broker. And itong broker naman siya magta-transfer ng money sa company bank account. So, bakit mo na electronically? Hindi lang naman ang mga employee ang pwedeng makapag-conduct ng fraud. Pwede rin ang management. So, kung sa management, ano naman ang maaari nilang gawin? So, top management is much more likely to conduct fraud by manipulating capital or investment processes. Kaya dapat the company must carefully examine risk related to its capital and investment processes and implement relevant controls aimed at prevention and detection of management fraud.